Hello, and welcome to the Minor Kamoni Enlightenment Show, a show in which we take enlightening excursions into current, contemporary, and pertinent topics in academics, culture, and life in general. We learn to use reason, sense, and understanding in order to achieve our goals, hopes, and aspirations. We learn to avoid turning out mediocre or sounding odd, and in these ways possibly missing out on opportunities there are in life. Before going any further, let me kindly ask you to like this program. I hope you do. And not only that, to subscribe so that you will in future be getting notifications of the many more interesting and enlightening episodes I have lined up for you. Then watch this program right up to the end. That will be of great benefit to you. And for me, at least I will be happy to know that there are people out there who are watching and appreciating the work that I do. So if you like it, go to the comment section below and let us interact. Tell me, even if you don't like it, I would like to know. Now, in the modern world, while leveraging on fast-paced technological advances, and especially in ICT, government, companies, firms are gradually accepting or are forced to accept the new norm, working remotely from home, and then accepting the processes that come with it. Presently, because of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, again, the same organization and the governments are forced to change their methods in which they recruit workers, and especially in interviewing them. Today, I am going to talk to you about how to pass perfectly the virtual or online job interview. The processes involved in working remotely from home and holding online or virtual job interviews are starting to get arrangements that are more and more efficient and are time and cost effective for the interviewers and interviewees. Thus, they are getting popularity worldwide. Now, job interviews conducted virtually are utilizing different software. Therefore, it is advisable for you to download either Zoom, Skype, and Microsoft Teams, which are the most common one. Then get the hardware, and this can either be a desktop computer, a laptop, a tablet, or a smartphone. All these devices, they have very smooth processes. So if you're in school or college or university or even working, it is advisable that you have these things with you. Get on board. So the following are the tips that I give how to pass the job interview and do so perfectly. And we shall use a very common formula: what to do prior to the interview, what to do in the duration of the interview, and then the post-interview period. Remember, it is the online or virtual job interview. Once again, I ask you to like this program and to subscribe to get future notifications. So the point here is that you should prepare for the virtual job interview very much in the same way as you would do the face-to-face. But of course with differences here and there, which I will highlight. But the main goal is that you will turn out head and shoulders above the others, and therefore the one that will be picked or given the employment opportunity. So number one, as I had mentioned, you have to decide the hardware you will use during the job interview. So prepare either to buy or to borrow the hardware. As I said, a smartphone, a desktop, laptop, or a tablet. Here, the thing is that you should go for the one that is readily available and the one that is most reliable. So you see, availability and reliability of the hardware is of utmost importance. Point number 2. Once you have the hardware, download this software and do it in advance. Do it at least 3 days and best 1 week or even many days before. Once you do that, again, get conversant with the software operations and what it requires of you. Most will require that you have an account with them, so set up the account and in good time. If you do this, you will avoid being panicky during the job interview. Just have one device, have another which will act as a backup, just in case the one you are using fails in the course of the interview. This is most important. Then number 4, select a location in which you will take the interview. This could be an office building, but most likely it could be at home. Let this be a secluded room with least distractions. I would advise against using the bedroom, and especially if it is strewn with loose items of clothing or with closet doors open or mosquito nets or canopies hanging or being seen. That's not the best place. Again, not in the sitting room with many pictures hanging on the walls and other souvenirs all over the place, because this could give an intended impression, wrong impression about you. And at least not in the kitchen with pots and pans and crockery in view. But it has to be one of these places. So set it up nicely, and whichever it is, make sure that the place is spick and span. It is very clean. Then point number 5, control your surroundings in that selected location. Display a general background. A blank wall with no noticeable features is best suited for this purpose. Then check the lighting, that there is good lighting, and at least not a bright background. So don't be next to the window with a window behind you, because this will silhouette you and bring a very blurred image. And again, be careful with the lighting. If you find that the lighting you're doing is leaving grotesque shadows behind you, again, don't do that. But at least it must be well lighted. Then whatever the case, make sure you have a sitting arrangement in which the upper torso or the upper part of your body from the waist upwards is what is seen. And don't make the mistake that because now it is only the torso that is being seen, below you don't dress properly. Now, you might be required to stand up in the course of the interview, and it can be very, very embarrassing if you are not dressed properly. Point number 6, test the technology a day before and again with 30 minutes to go. Make sure you understand easily how it works, how to switch on and off the camera. Don't assume that that is on default. Check your headphones if you have them and that they are aligned to the device that you're using. Point number 7, arrange with a colleague, a friend, or family member or members to have a mock interview in which you record your responses to common interview type questions. After recording, watch and listen to yourself and make an assessment of your performance. You will be able to correct it well before the interview, and that is very, very helpful. Now, before I go to the next thing, please remember to subscribe to this program. Now, we are in the duration of the interview. Come dressed appropriately for the day. It's best to be in formal clothes, like you can see, or industry dress code, if that will be of any help in you scoring marks. But avoid clothes that are with the same color with your background. Again, don't go in screaming colors or very florid dresses or dresses that show lots of skin or very tight-fitting clothing, slim fit. Such things are likely to draw attention from you. Point number 9, have your device backup at the ready. Make sure the battery is functional or connection to power. Then remember to tell your interviewers that you have a backup. Then give them your telephone number just in case you or they will have to call. Point number 10, if you're at home, tell everyone that you will be engaged in an interview for the next hour or so. Normally it is maybe 1 hour up to 1.5 hours. I mean, not be longer than that, but in some cases it could be longer. Ask the people to be quiet and orderly. At least tell them not to enter the room where you are in. And you on your part, don't allow, especially children and pets, into the room. They are such a distraction. Switch off the devices that may go on during the interview. Turn off notifications on your phone or computer so that they don't interrupt you. Then your mobile phone, if it is the backup that you're using, make sure that it is on silent or vibration mode. Silent would be better. Point number 11, use the last 10 minutes before the interview to collect yourself. Check your internet connections that they are working, or if it is bundles you're using, you have enough bundles to use. Data bundle, that's what I mean. Because it might be a lengthy interview, you may need a bottle of water beside you, but make sure that it has a cap on. Don't let it be a glass of water, because you might find yourself just pouring water on your computer, and that is most unwelcome thing to do. So have the cap on. If you need to take the water, you can always excuse yourself with the interviewers. They will understand. Now we get to answering questions, and this is point number 12. Listen carefully before giving a response. This is quite different from face-to-face questioning. Therefore, give it about 20 seconds to ensure that the other person has stopped speaking and that you have understood the question clearly. Then spend about 2 minutes in answering the question. The point here is avoid talking on and on and on. Remember, these interviewers have many people to interview, and again, they value their time. A poor interview technique is to look at yourself in the screen. Don't look, it's very tempting. No, don't do that. Instead, look at the camera in order to maintain eye contact with the interviewers via that camera. Point number 13. Speak in a conversational tone and be as natural as you can be. Don't think that this is the time now to star on this show. Smile the much you can, and then be positive, even if what you are having to say is negative. And then try to look energetic throughout the interview. A good thing to avoid and practice this is, repeat useless words, verbalizing useless words like, you see, irritating, Then, make sure you make good use of non-verbal cues of communication. So you sit upright and make certain that your posture radiates confidence. Then use your hands the much you can. Use the face, mostly to show that you are happy. Use your body where necessary. You can use it. But with these cues, the best advice is to always use them appropriately, only when you need them, and sparingly. So don't overdo it. Not want too many unnecessary gestures or facial expressions or, otherwise the whole show turns out melodramatic. Then a piece of good advice is that have a pen and a notebook at hand and use them to take notes in the course of the interview. But again, don't overdo it. Don't be seen all the time bent over making notes, because you will lose that eye contact with the interviewers. And by the way, again, don't take notes on your smartphone, even if it has got the pen or a tablet, because, they have the facilities, but sometimes the interviewers may doubt whether you are responding to social media correspondences or you're making notes. You try the good, tried, tested method of pen and notebook. Now it is after the interview, the post-interview period. When you're told that the interview is over, thank the interviewers and let them know in a way, and sincerely, that it was a learning experience for you. If there are one or two things that you can point out, why not? Remember, you are making notes. You can point out one or two things. Then, before you leave the room, be bold and ask for the contact. If they don't give it to you, you can ask for each one of them, or at the least, the chairperson. Then, don't get up until you're informed that it's over. You're told that's over and you're free to go. That's when you get up. Don't bang the door on your way out. Then, when you get at home, write a personalized thank you letter to each of the interviewers, or at the least to the chair. But don't fail to do it. It is one way of showing that you are enthusiastic. You are enthusiastic about it. In another episode, we shall discuss how to write these thank you letters to your interviewers. When the time for the recruitment is over, there's no harm in writing to them or calling to inquire whether you were successful and when you expect to report to work. Don't fail to do this. Therefore, there we come to the end. How to pass perfectly the virtual job interview by knowing what to do prior to the interview, in the duration of the interview, and the post-interview period. Before we end this, let me remind you to like the program. I sincerely hope you liked it. Subscribe so that you can get the notification for the next one. It's gonna be interesting. So bye for now. God bless.